illusionist Derren Brown says he was the victim of bullying as a child and was taken aback when he discovered his aggressor later suffered from severe depression and attempted to take his own life. Speaking to presenters Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield on Monday's edition of This Morning, the star revealed the traumatic tale that had a massive imprint on his life. The author, 50, was on the show to promote his new book How to Fail and Be Happy, told Holly and Phil about the incident which features at the start of the book. Holly starts by saying what is really interesting is that moment can be devastating for any child to go through. But it's what you learned in that moment and what you have taken from it. Derren replied, "I wasn't horribly bullied at school. I was a bit of a magnet for it. I got beaten up on this Duke of Edinburgh Awards trip when I was 15, and then years later, maybe a year or two ago, I found out the guy that did it had grown up and had a brain hemorrhage. That led to a horrible depression, so much so that he tried to take his own life and messed that up and then caused further damage to his brain. I carried around in my head for years this story of this guy being a bully. I'm sure he had his story about me too. Suddenly it really hit home how the stories that we tell ourselves about the world and other people don't really measure up to reality. There is all this other stuff that goes on. The nature of stories is that we live life through stories. We have this infinite data source coming out, so we have to turn it into a story so we can navigate it." He added, "But the nature of those stories, they are like cozy little things we tell around a campfire. Meanwhile there is all this other stuff in the forest that we don't see, and that's where all the monsters are. All the stuff will come and own us unless we somehow bring into our sense of what the world is." On writing the book, he said admitted that it ended up being a dark and sort of valuable thing. Phil then went on to ask if lockdown was the trigger for him to write the book. Derren replied, "Well, I started the book before lockdown and it was hard, I suppose, things in life that make us feel most isolated. Continuing, when life has this central pull to the center, to the difficult center, we are always going to find ourselves there from time to time. When we are in that place it can feel very lonely and difficult and isolating, but it's also the time we are feeling the exact weight of life. It's also the time that we are connected to the rest of humanity. This is the experience of life." The book was about that, and then lockdown happened, which of course is this literal play out of this exact idea, where on the one hand we are isolated and then on the other hand we are all connected by that. So that was something to kind of lean into and bring out more, so yeah, it did kind of provide a way of exploring those things. The star also reflected on his milestone birthday on turning 50. He said, "That's the thing about middle age, it's like adolescence. We all look back on adolescence and forgive it, but we don't feel the same way about middle age. Normally we are looking forward to it, as in it's ahead of us, so we don't have the benefit of hindsight. I think there is a shift that should happen, and if we all had roadmaps for life we'd know this. In the first half of life we are staking our claim in the world and saying that we want to be this and that, we are looking for cues on what should be right or wrong, thinking about our success and our reputation. A shift should occur around the second half, where we should look inwards and we should look at how we sit with ourselves more than how we sit with the rest of the world."